Hey everyone, Anthony Fantano here, Internet's busiest music nerd, you know who it is. Before we get into this Animal Collective review, we have a vinyl giveaway that we're doing for people that follow me over on the Symbol app. It's a social media app where you can share music. I share music over there quite often that I'm going to be reviewing on the channel, or just songs that I like, so on and so forth. And we are giving away vinyl for my 10,000th and 11,000th followers. We already had our 10,000th follower. Some of you guys were hanging back, waiting. Oh man, I'm just going to wait until somebody's the 10,000th or like the 9,999th follower, and then I'm going to jump in. I'm going to get that vinyl. We saw how you guys are doing it. So basically, what we're going to do this time is when we hit the 11,000th follower, out of the 1,000 people from 10,000 to 11,000, we will at random pick someone to win this fresh copy of Death Grip's The Money Store. Okay, so we're not giving it to the 11,000th follower. It's going to be at random between 10,000 and 11,000. Okay, so don't worry about when you're gonna like or follow the needle drop on Symbol. Again, link is on the screen. You can see the link on the screen, and it's also down there in the description box. Don't worry about not being the 11,000th follower. All that matters is that we get to that number, and at random we'll pick somebody to win this fresh copy of The Money Store. Woo! And that's about it. All right? So get on there, use the app, share some music that you like, follow me back, and have a good day.
Babies and jellymen, it's Couch Chester here, introducing the man you know. You don't like him very much, but you watch his reviews anyway. Annie Bandini.
That was awful. I have no idea why I let you intro these things.
'Cause you're cheap and you don't got nothing better.
That's true. Hey everyone, Anthony Fantano here, Internet's busiest music nerd. And it's time for a review of the new Panda Bear Animal Collective record, Painting With. Famed NEO-PSYCH outfit, Animal Collective. This is their latest record over here. The group has numerous great albums under their belt at this point. You could say from their album Sung Tongs all the way to Meriwether Post Pavilion. In the 2000s, they were on quite the streak. But as a longtime listener of the band, this record over here is kind of a moment, I hope, a moment of redemption for Animal Collective, because as you may or may not know, their last full-length LP, Centipede Hurts, was met with mixed reviews from fans and critics alike. The songs on this thing did not translate well, and the instrumentals were more messy than they were imaginative, which was just a letdown, because we're talking about a group here that has a reputation for creating music that is catchy, it's sweet, it's infectious, but also mind-bending and exciting. And looking forward to this new album over here, you never really know what Animal Collective is going to do on their next record. They're unpredictable in that sense, so I couldn't come into this thing expecting or really wanting anything other than to just like it. And it seemed like that was going to be a real possibility once singles like FLORIDADA came out, which I think is a great track. Hectic, fun, catchy song that seemed instantaneous, super straightforward, but had that manic, wild side to it that reminded me of Strawberry Jam. And upon initial listen to this album, it seemed like almost every other track here was also following suit with FLORIDADA. These songs are not as booming or as wide or as panoramic or as drenched in effects as Meriwether Post Pavilion, but the record is also not as cluttered as Centipede Hurts. They're not being as indulgent, they're keeping things kind of basic and skeletal. I wouldn't even say the sounds on this thing are all that trippy. Occasionally sunny and kooky and silly, but not trippy. The vocals are super upfront and intimate, very in-your-face, and the synth bass and the loops and the bedroom percussion, this record really has nothing to hide. Now there is still a little studio trickery going into this project. It's not like, just plain everyday sounds going into this thing, but it's like AV, Panda, and Geologist tried to make a record here that stood solely on the merits of its standalone songs. Not that it sounds like this one big psychedelic pop opus or these indulgent musical passages or weird sound play, which can be hard to adjust to for a hardcore Animal Collective fan, because if you're a fan, you know that Animal Collective is a band of not just songs, but also sounds. Sounds that are usually unpredictable, adventurous, and complex. And all of that is just kind of missing here. And the group tries to deliver songs, tunes instead. And there are some highlights as a result. FLORIDADA, like I said, is great. I love the song Golden Gals, which seems to directly reference the show Golden Girls, I think. That's what it seems like. The song features one of the better lead vocal performances, readable lyrics, really sweet harmonized background vocals. Golden Gals! And I like the buzzing synth bass on this track too. This synth bass also appears on a lot of other tracks here, but on this song, in this context, it seems especially good. The song The Burglars, I love the fast, quick little vocal melodies on this song, and the explosive woodwind freak out in the second half is pretty cool. And the vocal melodies on Bagels in Kiev are weirdly seductive. So there are some tunes here, but I don't think enough to carry the entire album. There are tracks where it does seem like Animal Collective could use a little more sound play, or that these songs could use a little more length to push them past like the 2-minute and 45 mark. As they are on this project, the sounds, the instrumentals are just so uninspired and just unimaginative. The synth bass and the redundant loops and the basic drum patterns, they all get old after a while. The auditory orgasmic experience of previous Animal Collective records is just not here. And it's not replaced with anything because these tunes are just not as satisfying. Now, they're not as patience testing as many tracks from solo Avey Tare and Panda Bear albums, but I still kind of feel like, in a way, I'm listening to a solo record. Avey Tare's wild side just does not show up enough on this project, and a lot of the lackluster characteristics that I've heard on solo Avey Tare and Panda Bear records also show up here, but they're kind of pared down into more digestible song lengths. I appreciate the group trying to step beyond the veil of mystery that usually shrouds their albums, but without the layers upon layers of strange effects and incredibly weird sounds, it's like Animal Collective's appeal has almost evaporated into thin air on this thing. Especially as characteristics that are kind of core to the group, I mean trademark things, sort of like the vocal style that you'll typically catch on an Animal Collective record. These things become kind of obnoxious because I cannot stand some of the vocal performances on this thing. Especially on Natural Selection, Summoning the Wretch, the song Spilling Guts, which has a lumbering beat that gets old really fast. Unfortunately, I just don't care for this record. And that ultimately can be boiled down to some of the songwriting just being lackluster, some of the choruses just not contrasting all that much from the verses, some of the vocals sounding kind of obnoxious, and the instrumentals are just not that intriguing. I'm feeling a
Like the decent 5
on this thing. Transition. Have you given this album a listen? Did you love it? Did you hate it? What would you rate it? You the best, you the best. What should I review next? Hit that like if you like. And share this album review with your mom if she's a big Animal Collective fan. Forever.